Hey guys, welcome to your Chapter 9, Lesson 4 notes on factoring to solve quadratic equations. We love factoring. It's so great. By the end of the day, you'll be able to solve quadratic equations with factoring. Remember that quadratic equation is anything with an x squared, where 2 is the highest power of an exponent. Okay. So let's make this true. If I have some mystery number, and you don't know what that mystery number is, but you know when you multiply it by 4, you get 0? Well, I mean, we could divide by 4 on both sides and realize, oh, it's literally just 0. Because throwback to like 3rd grade where any number times 0 is 0. Right? So that means you can put anything in here. You can be like 1 times 0, 0. 4 times 0, 0. 14 times 0, 0. 140 times 0, still 0. So write your own equation. Literally can be any number. You can do like 25.7. As long as it's times 0, it's going to be 0. Okay. So this is because if you have two numbers, A and B, then either, or rather, and you know that A times B equals 0, then either A equals 0 or B equals 0, or both. So for some examples, let's just do literally these examples. Okay, so here we have two numbers. We know whatever this number is, 4t plus 1, if you multiply it by t minus 2 and you get 0, then either 4t plus 1 equals 0, or t minus 2 equals 0. So what we're doing here is we are taking each of the factors and we're setting each one equal to 0. Yep. So you're going to say, okay, either 4t plus 1 equals 0, or t minus 2 equals 0. Because that's where the equals 0 comes from. I decide I want to do this. Okay? What? Okay, sweet. Okay, so since they're equal to 0, you equal 0 equals 0. And now you have a lot of different equations, and you can just set them equal to 0 and solve them. So now we know 4t plus 1 equals 0, and t minus 2 equals 0. So if t plus 1 equals 0, and we've got to solve for t, well, let's subtract 1 from both sides, giving us that 4t equals negative 1. And we're still trying to figure out, okay, what is t? So let's divide by 4 on both sides, and we get that t equals negative 1/4. Plug it back into the original equation, see if it makes it true. It does. I did it for you. On the other side, we have this other equation, t minus 2 equals 0. So we add 2 to both sides. We find out that t is in fact 2. Wait, how can we have two solutions? That's okay, you're allowed to. No. So you can leave your answer like that, or you can say t equals negative 1/4 and 2 like that, and that's good too. Sweet, sweet. Okay, so this is called the zero product property. And it says, hey, if you're multiplying, that's what product means. If you're multiplying and it equals 0, then either 1 equals 0 or the other equals 0. So check it out. All you have to do is split and set it equal to 0. So that means either x plus 1 equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. Now let's solve them. If x plus 1 equals 0, that tells you that x equals negative 1. Now, if x minus 5 equals 0, that tells you that x equals 5. Ta-da! Cool, huh? This is technically or. Fun fact, right? But what happens if you have this guy right here? Oh my. Well, you need to set it up as a set of factors. We had a really fancy term for this a couple lessons ago. We called it factoring. When you write it as factors, that's factoring. So we need to figure out, shooties McGooties, how do we factor x squared plus 8x plus 15? Ooh. If you want to go through your fancy square, you totally can. That would give you x plus 5x plus 3. So our factors are x plus 5 and x plus 3. If, however, you looked at this and you said, hey, I need to figure out what adds to 8, what multiplies to 15, and you got there, you got there. Hey, we've seen problems like this before. It was like 2 minutes ago. Split into x plus 5 and x plus 3, and then set them both equal to 0. This will give us that x equals -5 or x equals -3. Woo, that was so fun, but kind of abstract. How do we know we did it right? Well, we just found out what x is. Let's plug x back in here into the original problem. So our original problem was x squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Now we're going to plug each of our x values back into the original equation and see if it makes it true. Is it true that -5 squared plus 8 times -5 plus 15 equals 0? Maybe? Question mark? Well, let's find out. 25 minus 40 plus 15, is that 0? Well, -15 plus 15, I sure hope so. Okay, still on the other side, technically we're still checking our work. Wink. Is it true that -3 squared plus 8 times -3 plus 15 equals 0? Maybe? 9 minus 24 plus 15 equals 0? Well, -15 plus 15 indeed is 0. Cool, huh? Now this one doesn't look like anything we've ever seen before. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it equal to 0. So, like, I look at this problem and I go, I don't know how to solve this. But you know what I do know how to solve? I know how to solve when there's something equal to 0. So how can I manipulate this equation to get it so that something equals 0? Well, if I want to change this 18 to a 0, I know I need to subtract 18 from both sides. So that's what I'm going to do. Because really, guys, that's your life lesson, is if you don't know how to solve, if you find yourself in a sticky situation and you don't know how to get out of it, see if you can get yourself to a situation you've been in before. And lo and behold, here we are. Check it out even better. Oh, just kidding. I thought there was a GCF. There's not. Okay, well, let's do our magic box method. If you want to factor it by some other way, you can. I'm going to go with this. Okay, so 4x squared, -18, and I need them to add up to -21x. So I'm going to try 4x times x, and let's see, what can I multiply factors? 4 times 1 plus the other to get 21. Let's try 3 and -6. I should, you guys, totally should be writing down factor pairs of -18, but guess what? I did this problem ahead of time. So I know that 3x minus 24x is going to get me a -21x, so that's exciting. Okay, cool. So my factors here are 4x plus 3 and x minus 6. Sweet. Now they're equal to 0, which means one of these guys is 0. And it's up to us, the detective of the day, to use our awesome detective skills and figure out, okay, well, Is it that 4x plus 3 equals 0? Or is it that x minus 6 equals 0? One of these said, this is equal to 0. We've got to figure out who was it. Well, let's figure out what x is. On this side, I got x equals -3/4. So it's either that, or, that's a super fancy r, x equals 6. Well, it's one of the two. We check them, and we figure out, they were working together, they both work. Okay, cool. So when we're solving a system, not a system of equations, that's something else entirely. When we're solving quadratic equations, and we know that we have two things multiplied together equal to 0, then either one of them equals 0 or the other one equals 0, or both, that's fine. So split and solve. That's it. Split, set them equal to 0, and solve, and have a wonderful time on your homework.